This is the sportsdrome at Rubaix, an industrial town in northeast France, close to the Belgian border. A very ordinary town, and yet in no ordinary mood, because this is no ordinary day. This is the day the Round France bicycle race, the Tour de France, comes marching in. Any moment now, 129 bronze heroes will come sweeping into this stadium, caparisoned in the colours of the cigarette and liquor and tyre manufacturers who sponsor them, and preceded by a huge advertising caravan. They'll make a lap or two of this stadium, and that'll be the end of the day's racing. But only today's. The Tour de France lasts 3 weeks, and Rubaix is among the earlier of the 20 night spots. They've got to see Brittany and the Pyrenees and the French Alps before they get back to Paris again on July the 14th to add to the gaiety of Bastille Day. A few thousand fans have squeezed into the stadium, but there are millions more outside, because for France, this is a big thing. The cup final, the boat race, the Grand National, all rolled into one.
Surprisingly, the place isn't full. Perhaps because factories don't shut anymore. Perhaps because of the autumnal weather. Perhaps through fear of seeing their heroes crash on the slippery ground. Or perhaps because the invention of broadcasting means you can get more for less at home. Because, for the benefit of the uncounted fans outside the stadium, the networks are there in force. French radio and television in particular, RTF, make a mammoth effort. But most of the common market radio services are alongside them. This concentration of technical might is all part of the show to people who pay between 7 and 14 shillings to see just the last few hundred yards of the race. They get the atmosphere. By way of a television helicopter, people who stay at home get the pictures. At any rate, tomorrow's newspaper photographs taken from a press plane can be examined by both factions. What the helicopter sees is a jumble of traffic making its way back from a foray into Belgium. Motorcycles and cars, mostly. Cars carrying advertisements, or spare bicycles, or mechanics ready to leap out with spare wheels, or trainers ready to lean out with more or less spare advice. The crowds, spread thinly along the route, have to crane their necks to see even a single cyclist in all this brouhaha. But now, over the wireless, they hear the news they've been waiting for. A group of 8 riders have broken away from the main body, which tends to rumble along slowly and suspiciously until this happens, and then slowly and fatalistically afterwards. For a while, the 8 stick together. Then one rider darts ahead. Is he a local man, the crowd wonder? Disconcertingly, no. It's Shay Elliott, who lives no nearer than Dublin. He gets his rounds just the same. Then the other 7, and then the main pack. In 13 teams, and not altogether demoralized, since there are all sorts of side prizes which their better-placed teammates are helping them win. And bringing up the rear, more vehicles displaying the names of the 2 organizing newspapers. Meanwhile, back at the stadium, you get your entertainment where you can. Motorcycle acrobatics are provided purely as a public service by a liquor firm. The firm's officials say they get nothing back out of all this, but they add in franker mood that while their competitors do it, so must they. The crowd take about as much notice of this as they do of the brief cycle races it punctuates. But the advertising men won't give up. This time it's giant flies, pursued, a little lackadaisically, by a giant fly killer. It can't finish them off just yet. They must survive to wing their way around several more such stadiums before the end of the tour. The last, though not the least jaded display comes from a girls' band. Its sponsors, oddly enough, make gas for lighter fuel. Nothing if not courteous, the crowd acknowledge these efforts, but by now other things are on their minds. The race is very near the stadium. In a multitude of tongues, the radio commentators get busy beating up expectancy. At last, the moment has come. The stadium at Rubaix is on the point of enjoying its finest hour. So is Shay Elliott, a certain stage winner now, barring falls. He flashes round his couple of laps, expertly followed by the television camera, and happily acclaims his own victory. Over the air, excited commentators point out that Elliott rides for the same team as the two French favourites, Anquetil and Stablinski. Stablinski is lying well up in the other 7, only half a lap behind. He comes second. For a moment, Elliott seems to have disappeared, until he comes into view again on the winner's platform, besieged by pressmen. A blonde closes in on the dishevelled Irishman, to the victor, the spoils. Ostensibly, she wants to give him a bouquet. In fact, in her shy way, she's advertising men's trousers. But now the even more valued spoils, the famous yellow jersey, which goes to the overall winner so far, the rider who's wasted least time on the journey. This is often not the same man as the day's winner, but today it is. Hygiene note, it's a different jersey every day. I fought my way onto the winner's rostrum to ask Elliott how tough the race was.
It's very, very tough. It's only the start. There's another 19 days. It'll be very, very hard.
What are your chances, would you say?
To win the Tour, I don't think I have a much chance of winning the Tour, but I'm very happy to have taken this jersey today because it's not often that an Irishman, Tom Simpson, took the jersey last year, and I'm very happy for Ireland and everything.
But even after your magnificent race today, you don't think you've got a chance of winning?
Well, I've tried my best, but it's hard to say. There's another 19 days left.
Tell me, how do you eat on the Tour?
We eat, there's cake. We take cakes in the morning and we take them in our pockets and we eat during the race.
You eat as you go? Do you go flat out all the time?
Not all the time, but to win a race you have to go flat out. Thank you very, very much.
But the crowds haven't had their money's worth yet. Several minutes later, the main pack enter the stadium. Their teams are commercial, not national ones. And if by crafty riding they've prevented anyone from joining their teammates up front, they're content. While the band prepared to play God Save the Queen for Shay Elliott of Dublin, with the arrival of the main body, there's nothing left to do but go home and study the results. Or, if you're one of the tour's camp followers, to start packing everything up to be ready for tomorrow's appearance of the whole huge circus.
So that's it for today. The glory is departed. So are the girls trying to persuade us to buy headache remedies and trousers, the trick cyclists, and most of the television men. Within a few minutes, the stadium is empty. Tomorrow, the riders set off again. For Paris, which is reasonable enough, but neither by the quickest method, nor by the shortest route. The prize, of course, is more than a yellow jersey. It could be a golden egg, and it would need that to tempt most people into this business.